Well, tonight is night number 2 of my kind of video diary. I went to the hospital today and got a copy of all of my medical records from November, and this is it. This is from November 12th through, I don't know, the 23rd, 24th. I've gone through a lot of it. There are probably 1,000 pages here. And I've been through some of it, and I don't understand the majority of what I'm seeing. But there were copies of my EKG strips where I saw where my heart was going nuts, and then it would flat line, and then it would start again. But the heart rhythm, they call it tachycardia or VTach, was completely crazy. And there were words like cardiac arrest, resuscitation, what were some of the other words? Anyway, words that are typical and I understand as far as medical terminology that indicated that things were pretty bad. I'm not sure what I hope to find in here. I'm gonna spend some more time reading notes, reading doctor's notes and nurses' notes, and trying to find some kind of information about that time period. And I don't know why it's important to me. It just is. I woke up in kind of a bad mood today. I indicated that I've got a lot of stressors in my life, and one of them is this health issue that I've had, and it isn't completely over. I mean, my feeding tube is out, my weight has stabilized, my vitamins and minerals and all of that kind of stuff, my blood work looks good. But when kind of a new thing that's been going on for the last 3 months or so is when I eat, and now even when I don't eat, I have a pain in my upper left quadrant of my stomach, or my abdomen, and it kind of radiates through to my back, and it will go over to the upper right quadrant. And when I eat, it becomes almost unbearable to where I have to lay down for an hour, whatever, and then it goes away. But now it's kind of a constant thing where I feel that all the time. So I've tried some different medications. I had a CAT scan a couple of weeks ago. My feeding tube, my J tube, was taken out. I had a swallow test where the radiologist thought that they saw that when I eat something, it travels through rapidly through my stomach, and then when it gets to my lower intestine, it dilates my lower intestine and is released through there very slowly, which kind of, I guess you could compare it to a balloon filling up with water that it just has nowhere to go. So we're kind of looking at that. Dr. Rasmussen put me on some medication to relax my my intestine a little bit, and also something for gas, just in case it is related to, it feels like really, really intense gas pains. So we're kind of waiting to see how that works out. But also, I went to the cardiologist last week, and he was really concerned about my resting heart rate, which is way too fast. And he asked me about my stress. And I have a lot of stress. I'm dealing with this recovery and kind of the PTSD part of what happened. And then I'm also a full-time caregiver of my elderly parents. I moved home from Wisconsin 4 years ago, right after the kids graduated from high school, because my mother had fallen and hit her head and suffered a pretty severe brain injury, a brain bleed, and they thought she would die. And at the time they diagnosed her with Alzheimer's disease. So I came because my kids were going to be coming here to go to school. But I came to take care of her. I'd had some training and was a CNA in Wisconsin and worked in the assisted living field and felt like I could help my parents. But that has become something that I can't do anymore. My mom fell again about a year and a half after her initial fall, right around Christmas time. And so she's had 2 pretty significant brain injuries. She's still there. She does not have Alzheimer's disease, and I know that because she has not progressed at all in that way. But she's different. She literally does nothing. She sits in her chair in her office and does nothing. And that includes not taking care of herself. She showered 3 times last year. She will go months and months and months without showering. And it has become such a huge deal because it creates a lot of other problems, physical problems. She's constantly getting yeast infections. She's constantly getting bladder infections. She doesn't smell good. And this is really hard for me to say because she was never like this. She was always very put together. She took a lot of pride in how she appeared, in the appearance of her house, of her yard. And I understand that she can't do things like that. But she has been given so many opportunities. We had home health come in here to try and help her do some physical therapy so that she could rebuild the muscle tone that she's obviously lost because she sits in a chair constantly. She sleeps in the chair, she sits in the chair, she doesn't leave, she doesn't do one thing all day. And she rejected that. We also had a shower assistant come in to help her and my dad shower, to take that off of my plate and to give her some assistance and some motivation. And she absolutely rejected that. My dad showers once a week with the help of a shower aid, and he knows he can't do without, but my mom refuses. And it got to the point where we had to bring a social worker in to kind of monitor or to see if she was able to make rational decisions or decisions for her health. And it started to affect my health. It was so upsetting to me to just watch her rot. And have me wait on her hand and foot when I know that she can do something if she even just tried. And it's caused a lot of resentment. My relationship with my mom is totally different. I have felt some things that I never thought I'd feel for my mom. And I do resent her. And it's caused issues with this whole family. Felicia and Plinio had to get involved. My other sister's brother, my brother Ruben, turned out to be a total jerk about it. But today she has another urinary tract infection, and she wanted me to go and get her an over-the-counter medication that will just mask the symptoms, and she refuses to call the doctor to get on an antibiotic to cure the infection because she doesn't want to go anywhere. So I've gone back and forth with the fact that I have to leave here. I cannot allow the stress of this situation, of having to take care of them when they really don't want to take care of themselves, especially my mom. It's gotten to the point now where my dad doesn't leave his room, and he's actually woken me up in the middle of the night, literally at 3 o'clock in the morning, several times to go get him ice cream or a drink or a popsicle or to write something down. And I am so tired of it. I've tried to tell them, you need to come out of your room and walk with your walker at least once a day. You need to come to the dinner table once a day just to try and exercise. Nothing. I make their dinner and bring it to their room. They eat separately. They don't interact with each other. And I try to be patient, But I'm tired. I am so tired. And my kids, I've seen their relationship change with my parents. And to be honest, my siblings don't really help. I told them a few weeks ago, I need one day off, one day where someone just carries the load for one day, where I don't have to worry about it. I can't even go to work at this point because someone needs to be here 24 hours a day. They've both fallen. They both get confused. When I was sick and having seizures, neither one of them knew what to do. They didn't know whether to call an ambulance or not. And, once a month, my brother will come down, or he used to come down once a month and clean the house. Really good. My other brother, Reuben, would come and, do some repairs around the house. Once a week, Emily would bring dinner. Last summer, Felicia came over a couple times and worked in the yard, and now nothing. There is nothing. I get no help. And so I've told them that I'm going to have to move, and they're going to have to figure something else out. And I think that they think I really won't do it. And most of the time, I don't think I'll do it either. Because I don't know if I could live with the guilt. So last week, my doctor put me on another medication, a beta blocker, so that stress won't affect my heart as much. And then my other general practitioner put me on a stronger medication for anxiety and another medication for depression. And all the while I'm trying to deal with my health and what happened to me. And today when my mom told me that she wasn't going to call the doctor, I said, why in the world? Why do you think I have stress? I said, you just don't want to do a damn thing. I have my own children that I should be my priority. John has severe depression, and he lives here, and I'm here for him every day. And I worry about Lacey because she doesn't have emotions. And I know that this is going to sound like I'm feeling sorry for myself, but I've raised my children by myself, completely by myself, from the time that they were born. I had no help. And now I'm taking care of my parents by myself, and I have no help. John does a lot, and I feel guilty about that. I don't want him to have to worry about that. But I'm tired of doing things alone. I've wanted someone to take care of me. And I've wanted to be someone's person that they thought about. And I haven't ever had that. And I hate it. I hate being alone. And I hate thinking that my kids feel obligated to spend time with me. I've got to turn the light on. Oh shoot, there's not a light bulb in there. I was married for 3 years. I didn't have a lot of boyfriends growing up. I had opportunities that I should have taken that I didn't. And now I'm at a stage in my life where I would like to start dating. I even said something on Facebook the other day about the fact that I'm ready, and that if anyone knew anyone, that they could send them my way. No one said a thing. And I look at the women that the men my age who are available are dating. And they're nothing like me. One of my old boyfriends, Todd Jorgensen, we served our missions together, and then we dated in college, and he got divorced a few years ago and came out to Wisconsin and spent time with us, and I wasn't in a position to date then. I was fat, I didn't feel attractive, and now that I'm skinny, and I have a fun personality, I think. I'm not doom and gloom all the time. And I'm fun to be with. But the girl that he's dating is an influencer. She wants to be a model and an actress. And I've watched some of her videos, and this is probably really wrong of me to say, but it's obnoxious. That's why when I made my video yesterday, I said this is not for anyone else. This is not about anything beyond just for me, just so that I could talk to someone, even if it's just myself. And I don't have any words of wisdom to pass on, or anything creative, or anything that's going to help anyone else. This is just for me. And these kind of women who make these self-help videos that they have, so much wisdom and are going to tell you how you can live a better life and be happier and be closer to the Lord. And then go and wear your bikini. I don't know. Todd's girlfriend had a picture. They're in Hawaii right now. And she had this little bikini on, and she's had work. And I mean, gosh, I've had work. I had my stomach cut out. But she'd had a tummy tuck and a boob job, and that's what guys look for. Even guys that used to like me. And I'm still the same. I'm probably a lot better than I was. And I think I have a lot to offer. And I don't want my life to have consisted of a 3-year horrible marriage to a man who treated me terribly. I want to be able to fall in love with someone and be taken care of for once. I want someone else to help me make decisions. I don't want to have to make the decisions all the time by myself. I want to be able to rely on someone when I'm feeling overwhelmed or when I need encouragement. I want someone to look at me the way that my dog looks at me. He is so in love with me. And I don't want my kids to worry about me being alone. And I've told my children that under no circumstance are they ever to become my caregivers. Ever. That when the time comes, they can put me in a nice assisted living, whatever, as long as they come and see me. But I will not allow them to be my caregiver. I won't allow that to happen to my relationship. I need to get out of this funk. I don't know if it's the change in my medication or just this added stress and the fact that I'm holding on to so much resentment right now and anger. And I just kind of want to be left alone, and I just need a break. A couple of weeks ago, John and Lacey and I went down for 4 days to St. George and stayed in a hotel. And it was amazing. I just told my family, you guys are going to have to take care of Mom and Dad because I'm not. I need some time. And I need to do that once a month. And I need my family to understand that I'm serious. That this is not good for me. And I need to be brave enough to make certain decisions that are good for my health. And I want to be happy, and I want to have a life. And I don't want to just be everyone's caregiver. Sometimes I just want to be cared for. Even when I was so sick last year, John lived here and he cared for me as much as he could. Lacey too. Anyway, that's tonight's boring, sad message. Although it did end on a good note. The kids, John and Lacey and I and Maddie, went up to Sundance. We took Micah and it was beautiful up there and I could breathe up there and it felt really good. And I need to do things like that more. So it ended good. Okay, good night.